Hey guys, I'm Devin with Rising Tiger, and today we're making Thai-style son-in-law eggs. So today we'll be using Homiah Sambal Crunch, eggs, rice wine vinegar, and a few other things. We'll get to that later. And then we'll set a timer for 7 minutes and 20 seconds, which is the perfect time. And in the meantime, while we do that, we'll pick some herbs. So today we have a little bit of Thai basil, some fresh mint, and with the herbs, you kind of use whatever the amount of you like of each one. If you like a lot more dill, which is what we're using, we're using what we call sweet herbs. So that's Thai basil, fresh mint, and dill. And use as much and as little as you want. So if there's anything that you don't like, you can omit or you can add. And we'll just do a rough chop through all of these together. So I'll just stack them all up and do a rough chiffonade. And we'll just leave that to the side. We'll grab a pan and get our sauce started. Well, in this pan, we'll add a little bit of ginger.
And you just peeled and thinly sliced that before?
Yep,
okay.
Exactly. We just peeled and then again, this recipe is all about kind of what you like and your own particular flavors. So I probably have like a tablespoon of ginger here that's peeled and just chopped down. Size doesn't really matter too much. And then we are going to start with our blend. So this is just a blend of olive oil and sesame oil. And we'll probably do about 2 tablespoons of that in our pan. It kind of always just gives us a little bit of nuttiness in what we cook and what we like. And I like the flavor of olive oil, and also gives a better smoke point to the sesame oil. So we'll go ahead and throw our ginger down just to kind of toast up. We'll go ahead and season that with a little bit of salt to sweat out more of that aromatic components.
Can you talk, like, what makes something son-in-law eggs? Or can you kind of explain this dish? I didn't know about it till you told me, and so I Googled it, but...
Honestly, I don't know the whole backstory behind it. We've just always have eaten it as kids. It's just any leftover hard-boiled eggs my mom would just fry up, and then essentially it's a hard-boiled egg that's been deep fried and tossed with a tamarind chili glaze. So I wanted to do that same idea, but highlight our Homiah Sambal Crunch today. Still have the same spirit and the same body of everything. Once our ginger starts to get a little bit of color, we're going to go ahead, and this is a super easy recipe. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to go more for the chunky part of our chili crunch. Kind of skip a little bit of that oil. I'll say about like a tablespoon of that. And we're going to turn that oil off, kind of let everything rest a bit to kind of bloom this chili oil. We're going to add a tablespoon of fish sauce. We're going to use about a tablespoon of fish stock, or dashi, or you could just use water.
Is that dashi?
This is dashi, yep. Okay. And that is just brewed, actually just cold brewed it, which is just kombu, water, and a little bit of bonito flake that I've just steeped in water.
And you just let that like sit overnight?
Overnight, yep, in a mason jar or whatever you have in hand. And then we're gonna finish this with about a tablespoon of sugar. And we're just gonna incorporate all of that. And then we'll just wait for our eggs to cook. We'll just grab a bowl, and we'll grab a bowl of ice water. We can immediately shot our eggs. And for a little bit of crunch too, we're gonna add a little bit of these green onions. Just for a little bit more depth and flavor and a little bit some texture as well. I cut everything on a bias because it just looks fancy. It's an easy party trick for everybody. Yeah, we're just gonna slide everything to the side for now. Once we peel our eggs, we'll add our green onions to our mixture, our chili mixture, so they wilt and start to give its aromatic qualities. And then once we have everything together, we'll top with our fresh herbs just so they don't wilt as bad. And then we'll just go in and cool these guys down. It's very important to have a cold water ready when you're making eggs, just so you keep the yolk from overcooking. Everyone's seen that super hard-boiled egg that's green inside. So that's one thing we want to avoid. In my personal opinion, a 7-minute and 10-second egg is the perfect egg. That's the runny yolk in the middle. 7:20, 7:30, you're starting to get a little bit more solidified. And then anything over 8 minutes is a hard-boiled egg salad egg, you know. And then we'll just let these kind of rest in the oil, in the ice water for a moment. And then, like I said, while those rest, we'll add our green onions to this pan. And you can hear that sizzle. It's still hot enough where it's going to, again, wilt these green onions, but nothing's going to burn in the pan, which is that chili crisp. That's the one thing we don't want to burn. We don't want that to be accurate at all. And at this point, you can really smell all the herbs and ginger and garlic and onions kind of come through. It'll start to clump like this. What you can do is you can take a little bit of a tablespoon of that egg water that you did, pour it in there to kind of, again, emulsify that all back together. But it's okay if it's a little clumpy. And since now it's a little cool, we'll just get a little taste. That's pretty tasty. It's actually really good. So we just have yuzu on hand, but a lime would work perfect for this. And I would just add maybe a teaspoon. And that's just to give it that freshness that we want. Again, this is a dish that's traditionally made with a tamarind chutney or a tamarind jeow. Jeow is like a what I like to call jeow is like a salsa. It's known also as like nam prik is the Thai version, jeow is the Lao version, Sambal is the Malaysian, Indonesian version. And again, this dish is hard-boiled eggs that have been fried in a tamarind chutney or a tamarind jeow. So that's done, and we'll just go ahead and crack our eggs. And I like to just crack around the center first. Once I get all around, we'll just go like this. And then we'll set that back in the water for it to cool down again. And I feel like this is the easiest way. The water kind of seeps in between the white and the shell. So, and then once you kind of go back to peel it, I feel like it's a lot easier. Kind of helps loosen that shell. And then we'll just go ahead and peel these guys. I used to work in a ramen shop, so I mean, we would get our cases where 180 eggs, right? So probably 4 cases in whatever shift that is. And that's usually gone by the end of the shift. You're doing that every single day. It's fun. It's real fun. You know, we call that reflection time. So anything you've done in the past, you just start thinking about.
Is that where this technique came from?
Yep.
Yeah. Did someone teach that to you, or did you kind of come up with it?
We came up with it because some cooks will, I mean, I always make the joke, some cooks would add vinegar, lemon juice, baking soda.
Oh, I have done the baking soda trick. That works.
Baking soda does work. What is it? It makes the water alkalize, so it helps sturdy the shell faster. But after so many, it's just like, it's all about timing, and then I think letting the egg soak a bit, like just rolling the eggs and letting the water kind of get in between the shell. Then you don't have to do any work at all. But it's peeling 6 eggs is a lot easier than 180 plus.
And then are these going to go in the sauce we made?
Yep, so we'll go ahead and we're going to actually drop these guys right back in the sauce. The sauce is still warm. And I don't know if anyone's ever fried a hard-boiled egg. It's super dangerous. This is why we're going with our soft cooked eggs and kind of dressed in this sauce. So the cool part about also having a bowl of water and letting them soak again is that you can actually just dip them back in the water and make sure you remove any of those shells, any of that extra leftover protein. So we're just going to throw those right back into this. And then we'll just turn the heat back on, and maybe a minute or so. We'll throw half our herbs in here as well once all these kind of get coated.
Would this traditionally be like a deep fried dish, or is this?
It's traditionally a deep fried dish. So yeah, usually what you'll see is that they'll have these little roadside stands, and all the eggs will already be hard boiled. And when you order one, they'll just go ahead and throw it into the hot oil until it's crispy, and then they'll put this sauce on top of it.
And there's no like redding or anything. It's just the
nope,
egg straight in.
Exactly.
I should have been filming in slow-mo. That would have been awesome, that little flare-up.
And we'll just baste our eggs to get more of that flavor. Again, this is like a minute or so. Then we'll throw half of our herbs in just to get those aromatic qualities kind of going. Stir those in as well. And we just want those to slightly wilt. And that's it. So from here, we'll go to plate. And what I like to do is keep as many eggs whole as possible. And I'll spoon this sauce all over. And I'll take one as our presentation. And we'll just chop this guy right in half. And we'll top that just like this. Then we'll go ahead and spoon a little bit more of this sauce on top. And we'll add some of our fresh herbs. And this is just for, again, a little bit of freshness from all that chili oil and funk from the shrimp and this Homiah.
I like that you added the dill. Was that?
That's actually a super traditional Laos
okay.
Lao technique. That's one of the most kind of very ubiquitous to Lao food. And the difference from Lao and Thai food is that we use a certain fermented fish product called badak, which is similar to fish sauce, but it's actually the entire fish that they use. Once they use the entire, and they, again, just like fish sauce, they salt it, they ferment it, sun dry it, and then they actually blend all of it together to make a more richer, thicker fish sauce. And that's and dill are the two major components in Lao food that, in my opinion, that makes it stand out compared to Thai food. And that's it. That's how you have it.
That's awesome.